So then it was a case, really, I mean, the way I work both in observational films and in archival films is to sort of gradually build a scene structure from the things that I'm shooting or the research that I'm doing, or in this case, from looking at the archive, you know, and I'll end up with a Word document that has, you know, 50, 45, 40 scenes in it, usually far too long for an actual film. And then we'll start the process of kind of going through the archive, which is a bit like the process of shooting, I think. You know, you see things, they make you think of, they give you ideas about how they might work within the film, and then you look for other things that will make them work better. So in some ways, the archive kind of speaks back to you and changes the structure. So just to sort of duck back into, and we can get into that sort of editing process, because, you know, things that I would write in that outline, you know, I might have there's a point there where you see there's like a scene 16, which is a paragraph long. When we started to edit it, it was like an hour, because this was the stage of Greenpeace when they just shot a lot of material. So the archive, in a sense, was starting to sort of push us to make a different kind of film. And actually, in the end, we took that scene right back to how we thought of it originally. So what we're, just to go back to the issue of archive and negative. So in this film, about 70% of the film is archive, and about 70% of the archive in the film is from Greenpeace. So there's another 30% of archive, which is from other places. You know, Greenpeace didn't film their meetings. They didn't film very much in their home lives. So we needed to do a search which would get us outside of just the actions that they took in the 70s, the anti-whaling actions and the anti-sealing actions. And that involved a very sort of traditional archive search through archives across the world, which often had material that had been shot by Greenpeace, you know, cut out. Sometimes we'd find in the Greenpeace archive a piece of footage that had a shot missing, and then like in Chile or something, we'd find an archival bit of news that had exactly that shot back. So sometimes they would just give, you know, bits of film to news outlets in return for getting the news exposure that they wanted. And with all of this material, you know, I felt it was really important to try and make it, you know, to try and make it cinematic, and that involved really going back to the negative of the material. Just to give you a sense of how different that is, you know, most archives will contain prints of film rather than the original source negative. And this was true both of, you know, of a lot of the material we got, but also in the Greenpeace archive, there were a lot of prints and there were a lot of negatives. And this is just to show the sort of difference between these two. These are two transfers we've done, exactly the same transfer of two reels we found in Greenpeace. One is a print, the other is a negative. And this is the print, I think we start with. Okay, so that's actually a color print. It's just got very washed out over time. It's got you know, acidification. This is the negative of that. So a completely sort of different feel. And it would have been so easy in a way to have got to this side, you know, found this and thought, okay, great, we found it, and not kept looking for the negative of that material. And it's just a huge, huge difference in terms of the quality and what you see. The negative actually is so kind of clean. There's no dust. There's no, you know, very few scratches. On this side. I mean, obviously, at times you might want that kind of rough look, but we were sort of trying to go for something that really made you feel you were part of this group, if you like. You were in this group, in these actions with this group.